So it's just like this non-stop circle of going nowhere, basically. So that's where I've been. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Yoon, and in today's video I am trying a different angle, mainly farther away. I think I used to be really close before, but I think now somehow being far away is helping with the lighting a lot more. Is that underneath? No, that's a curl. So yeah, welcome to my video. Also, thank you so much for 300 subscribers. I know I said I was gonna do a Q&A for 100 subscribers, but I had so many videos that I wanted to upload first, and also I really wanted to kind of, there was this one question that I mainly wanted to answer, and I really kind of, it probably won't turn out as well, but I did want to give some time and effort to like think over how I wanted to respond and like how to kind of be able to successfully convey the meaning behind it. But since I have reached another milestone, if any of you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. I'm probably going to open a Q&A on Instagram as well, just to see if any of them have any questions. But yeah, so that's it. Thank you so much for subscribing. I really hope you are enjoying my videos, and I hope you are enjoying me. But yeah, and if any of you have any video recommendations or any videos you'd like to see, also comment that down below, and let's get to the actual video. So this video is a July wrap-up. I have read 5 books. This reading month was a bit better, but it was also such a weird reading month because, so I'm hoping to upload this after the reading vlog, in which I kind of talk about it a bit more. But recently I've been in a really weird and frustrating reading slump, but then it's like the most frustrating slump because you want to read, but you don't feel the desire to read any of the books you have or that you are able to get your hands on. So it's just like this non-stop circle of going nowhere, basically. So that's where I've been. And it was a bit of a push to make, oh dear me, to make myself read these books. But, except for 2 of them, the rest were a bit of a struggle. I read 5 books. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to talk a lot about a lot of them in this video, mainly because I have 2 separate videos that are going to talk a lot more in detail of my thoughts and opinions on the books I have read and have not finished reading this month. So I'm gonna do maybe just like a rating, try to summarize it as best as I can, and then move on. And then I have another video dedicated to the classics that I read this month, so I'm probably just gonna talk a lot about in detail this book. So I'll save that for last. If we're going in order of what I read, excluding this one, let's get into the classics. I rated both of these, I believe, 3 stars. I already forgot a lot. But this book is about a Buddhist monk. Yeah, a Buddhist monk who, you know, he kind of, I don't know if it's violates, but he goes against the Buddhist teaching because he succumbs to the temptation of 8 fairy maidens who had come to visit their temple. So as a punishment, his master kind of like casts him out. But it's a weird punishment in that, like, for some reason after being casted out, the monk wakes up and realizes he's reincarnated into this amazing man, like the most ideal man. He's born into like the perfect best life anyone can be born into. He's extremely intelligent, he's talented, he's super good looking, he's very charming, he basically perfect man. And it's kind of on a story, like just a story level. It's like a romance of how he, with his perfect life, kind of finds romance, but also on a like a slightly deeper level as he's living the perfect life. And marrying wives and getting concubines, he realizes he's feeling unsatisfied and something doesn't feel complete in him. And the reason for that is, it's not a spoiler because the summary says it, is because he's not living a satisfying life according to Buddhist values, such as living simply with mindfulness. So it's kind of his journey as that. And I gave this a 3-star. Biggest reason, I don't know enough about Confucianist, Taoist, or Buddhist values to look deeper and to appreciate the values being taught here. And like as a result appreciate the story more. And also by having read this as just the romance story, as the most story level, it wasn't that fun. So yeah, 3 stars. And then following up on that, I also read the story of Gildong, also 3 stars. Extremely short, it's a 75-page story. It's kind of similar to this one, except he's not being punished. This is kind of just, so it's like a Korean magical Robin Hood, in that the main character, Gildong, he is born, once again, almost ideal. I don't remember if he's good looking or not, but he has power. He's like extremely powerful in terms of strength, magical powers. He's extremely intelligent. He's very, very well educated. He like remembers everything super well. So he's just basically very skilled and talented. However, he can't really amount to much in his life because he's been born as an illegitimate son. As a result, he breaks off from he like runs away from his family. He joins a group of bandits, and then they kind of do a Robin Hood-esque story. However, it goes further than that, and he eventually ends up being a king of his own country. And yeah, 3 stars. Story was also, once again, not very fun. It's more about the historical significance that this book has, in which I talk about more in the video. And also the name itself, Gildong, which is actually a really big, it is used a lot, in which I talk more about this in my other video. And yeah, 3 stars. Now, next off, I have these two. I have The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo and Good Girl Bad Blood. First of all, Good Girl Bad Blood, I rated this 4 stars. I have also lowered my rating of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder to 4 stars as well. And the biggest thing about that is, I can't tell you why, but it just wasn't a 5-star read, but it was still a really good book. And this book is a sequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, however completely unrelated mystery. But characters are still all, I think most of the characters are still all there. And Pip, she decided, like, she just published a podcast to like let people know about Annie Bell. However, she's decided, like, after this she's not going to do any more detective work because she's like kind of dealing with the consequences of what happened to her, because she became super obsessed. Because of her obsession, she was like not doing well in school. She was violating a lot of, she was making a lot of unethical and immoral decisions, and she's kind of like struggling to realize and accept the fact that she's done that in this book. So that's why she's decided to give it up. However, a close friend of hers older brother disappeared, and he's asking her to like, could you please help me find my brother? And so she not only decides to do detective work again, she also decides to actually do kind of like a live podcast upload in which she's asking other people, if you know this, if you've seen this person, please let me know what's happening, etc, etc. And yeah, this book, and that's basically it. So it's like a lot higher stakes than the other book. 4 stars. I do recommend, though, if you're going to read this sequel, read it right after the first book, because I was reading this book and I could not remember anybody's names except for Pip and Rafi. I was constantly asking myself, who is this person again, and what was their role in the first book. So yeah. And then for the fourth book I read, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, I rated this a 4 stars. I thought it was a really well written story. It was very emotional, it was very impactful. I thought the way that the author was able to create a story of like an older Hollywood star who is not straight and also famous. I liked how it kind of like made it very emotional and impactful and whatnot. I thought it was a really good representation on that part. However, I don't think it was very good for Latina or Hispanic representation, and that is also one reason why 4 stars. But also, yeah, there are just moments here that wasn't, yeah, it's just a 4 star for me. It didn't feel a 5 star, but I do think it was a really well written story, mainly on the aspect of her struggle with keeping her fame, but also trying to keep the love of her life in her life. And then finally, for the last book I read, and the one that I'll probably talk about the most, is the Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. Yes, I have finally read the first book of the series. As you all might know, I read the second book first because it was part of a book exchange, and that was what was on my friend's list, and it was something that was also on my list, so I also picked it up. This one I rated it a 4 star mainly because of this one point, and that is surprisingly the mystery. I do think that this book still had a well-written, well thought out, well plotted mystery. The problem was I felt like there was just too many mysteries going on at the same time, and I'm pretty sure not all of them ended up becoming like converging into one big mystery that was going on. So for me, I felt like this book bit off more than it didn't bite off more than it could chew. Like, it could still chew on it, but it was still a pretty big bite that struggled to chew, because it's just so many characters that are connected to so many different mysteries in this story. And sometimes even you're like past halfway in the book, they'll be introduced more characters, and they're not minor characters. They were actually characters that were pretty largely related to at least one of the mysteries popping up. But then it's like there's so many characters at one point. It was just so hard to keep track of not only the people, but also what the heck was going on. The author still did a good job in kind of bringing everything somewhat together and connected, but it was just so many mysteries that this book felt too ambitious, and it fell kind of short. Like, it didn't fall short because it still managed to like tie everything in and also bring everything to a conclusion quite well, but it's just, it almost didn't. You know, like, it was so hard to keep reading because it was just too much going on. So kudos to the author for having finished well, because that sometimes is a problem. But also, why did you do so much? Like, why? I was so confused and so stressed during this book, because a large amount of my energy in reading this book was dedicated to trying to figure out who was who and what was going on and how did all these mysteries connect. And yeah, it's just not my cup of tea. And however, the characters are still really lovable. There was another thing I wanted to talk about here, but what was it? Oh gosh, I don't remember. Oh, so this was also part of a book exchange. This was on my list to my friend. She picked this one. She also kept asking, like, writing in the stories, like, who is this character? I don't remember this character. Too many characters. So both of us do agree that there are too many characters and just too much going on to keep this a fun and smoothly flowing story. I can't remember what I was going to say, so I'm just going to say this in comparison to the sequel. The sequel for me is a much better story because we actually only focus on one mystery, and it doesn't, as opposed to this one where it felt like it was a lot of mysteries into one. That one just had a lot of red herrings that I thought were really well written. that story and that mystery, just in comparison to this one, was just so much more well thought out, much more well plotted, much more complex, but also just so neatly tied in the end. And it was just so much shocking. It's just so much more shocking. I was shocked at the things that happened here. Oh, I just remembered. So this one, I thought this one had it was funny, but also it was also dealing with kind of more somber moments. Like there's a lot of sad things here in which it talks about how old age brings you closer to death. There's a lot more contemplation of death and life, and how age plays into that, and what you can lose by growing older. So it's a lot sadder here in that terms, because that one was like kind of what most characters do end up going through, which is physical danger. But this one actually kind of did explore and talk a lot about the dangers of being older, like much older, and just the health problems that come along with it, just the things you go through when you're at that age. So this one did feel a bit more somber, but yeah. And then in comparison to the sequel, like I was saying, the mystery itself was just much better written, much more well thought out. The characters were also just more the funniest thing is that my friend, I really hope she doesn't see this video, so if you're watching it, stop watching here because it's a spoiler. But the one thing here is she kept saying she likes the dynamic between Donna and Chris. But me having read the sequel first, I know Chris ends up with Donna's mom, but she was like saying, I can see them getting together, and I was like, no, you can't see them getting together, you can't. But yeah, so I thought that was fun. And yeah, Bogdan, you definitely do have to read this book if you want to understand him more and to understand who he is in the second book. But you still end up loving him the same. Like, I didn't know who the heck Bogdan was when I read it, but I ended up absolutely loving him. I totally ship him and Donna together. They're so cute. But yeah, so honestly, because you don't need, in my opinion, you don't need to read this book to understand the characters and what goes on in the second book. I would probably just recommend that one over this one, but this was still a pretty solid mystery book. And yeah, that is what I read this July. 5 books. Pretty diverse group of books out of pretty diverse genres. I actually managed to read 2 classics, which I consider a win. I've been wanting to read classics, but I've just, it's just, I don't want to have to force myself to read, but sometimes that's all you can do. So I gotta make myself read these books to read other books, and yeah. Anyways, that is it for my video. Okay. Sorry guys, I forgot to include one more. I forgot to include another thing, other stuff that I read. So I don't know how I'm going to edit this, but there'll be a discrepancy in the video. And it's because I forgot to film and include this other guru. So I've talked about the books I read, and I am going to talk about the mangas that I've read. So I read 8 volumes. One, like 7.5 maybe. I did technically read this one, but then I ended up skimming it because I was like, I want to just see what happens, but I want to read what happens later to like savor it. But yeah, so I totally forgot I filmed a manga reading vlog, but I'm here to talk about it today. So let's see, where am I going with this? In my reading vlog, I said I was gonna buy the other volumes. I bought them. They are right here in my hands. The first volume I want in English, so I've asked my sister to get it for me because it's not, I can't buy it here in Korea. It's not in stock. And yeah, so I bought those. I will talk about that later. And in my vlog, so I ended up finishing the 3rd volume of this one later off vlog. And honestly, all these manga volumes, all 5 out of 5. I freaking love them. They're so good. So this one extremely funny. I was so disappointed and sad because I'm keeping an eye on the publishers and seeing what releases they're gonna do this month. I really thought August they were gonna release volume 4. It's not the case. It was not the case. I am so sad. Okay, I'm seriously feeling so disappointed and sad in here. I'm really hoping it'll come out September, hopefully. But yeah, extremely funny manga. This is, so if you haven't seen the reading vlog, I'll probably do the circle thing, but I'll try my best to summarize it because this video ended up being a lot longer than I expected. These three. This one is 여성향 게임 속에서 내가 히로인이자 구세주. I don't know what this would be translated. To my best ability, I would translate it as I am the heroine and savior in an otome game, or also known as a dating sim game. Funny thing, it's not the girl who got sent, but she accidentally sent her brother instead. And the only way to get the ring to be able to go back to their world is to end up in a romantic relationship, but he's straight, so it's kind of him trying to crush all the flags but also keeping them platonic so he doesn't end up in a bad ending. So yeah. This one I can say yeah, super funny, super good story. And obviously I reread Tokyo volumes 1 and 2. This is translated in English, so I highly recommend you guys check it out. It is about how aliens do exist and they actually do travel to Earth. There's an intergalactic airline, space line travel that aliens do, that they come visit Earth, they stay for a while. Obviously there's rules they have to follow and stuff like that. And then one day the story starts off with the main character, Akira Gunji. He gets on a train. Turns out that that train is only available and accessible to aliens, but he's been raised as a human his whole life, so he's kind of like, what's going on? And then a very popular classmate of his, give me a second, do I know his first name? Oh, Sho Tenkubashi. He finds out that his classmate, Sho Tenkubashi, is part of the elite police force that deals with aliens that break the law on Earth. And he gets recruited into it as well. One, because a secret, I don't want to spoil it. But two, to also find out more about the life now that he's been exposed to it. And he is connected to it in some way. So that's why he hasn't been dealt with in terms of memory wipe. So please check it out. Super good, so funny, but also so emotional. Also the drawing scenes. Okay, the drawing action scenes here are so good. Okay, there's always, you know, those moments where you have like the big action impact, like the one that wants to deliver the most impact. Really well written. Also, look how beautifully drawn this is. Like, look at those flowers and that subway door. And let me see, where's the big action scene? Oh, so like this, for example, like look at that. Look at all the details in this scene. It's just immaculate. Okay, so Tokyo Aliens translated into English, so check it out. And then finally, for my most favorite, most comforting, my #1 comfort read forever, most likely, is the Play It Cool Guys manga series, or 쿨하고 바보 같은 남자. Let me put it in. I adore this series. Okay, I absolutely adore them. Adore it. It's so, tears me up from just how much I enjoy it, how much I love it, how much of a comfort it brings me when I read it. So this is also in English, translated into English, so also check it out. It is really, it is more expensive though, because everything's in color. Look at that. Literally everything is in color, and it's just so cute. Okay, let me do my best to summarize it. So this translates, so the English title is Play It Cool Guys, and this Korean translation to my best ability is Cool but kind of dumb guys, clumsy. So cool and clumsy guys, basically. So this series follows 4 and at first 4 and then 5 male characters who are cool. Like, they are very good looking, they look like they're very cool guys, but in reality they are cool, but they are also actually pretty clumsy. So for example, but they're also cool and clumsy in different types. So one character, Hayate, he is cool, but he's like the clumsy type that's easily embarrassed. Where was I going with this? Oh, so it just basically follows their lives, and then how they, not only are they separately, but how they eventually end up coming together and becoming a friendship group. And it's just so cute and so wholesome, and it's so funny also, but and pretty relatable for me. I've seen some people say the secondhand embarrassment is too strong. I can see how that could be the case. There was one chapter, I think in the 3rd volume, that chapter was so embarrassing for me to read. I don't want to tell you why, but that's the only chapter though in which I felt secondhand embarrassment. Everything else has been really relatable or really funny or just really cute. So yeah, if you think, and this is also coming from somebody who feels secondhand embarrassment really, really, really strongly. So if you think you are the type to get very easily embarrassed on behalf of others, maybe read the 1st volume and see how much that affects you, and then if it doesn't, keep going. It's totally worth it, I guarantee you. It's just so cute. Okay, please read this. Out of everything I could have talked about here, this one is the one I recommend the most. Okay, it has instantly become a comfort read of mine. I have been constantly rereading these volumes because they're just so cute and just so heartwarming. I don't know what to tell you guys. But yeah, so relatable, so cute. But I genuinely love this series. I'm very happy that I found them. And yeah, please, if you can, read these books. Again, they're all in color, so I don't know. Also, look at these pages. Gorgeous. They're all in color. It's just amazing. But yeah, that is everything. Now that is everything I read in July. It ended up being a lot more. 5 books and 7.5 manga volumes. Yeah, so properly ending this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for 300 subscribers. And what did I say when I closed it and then I remembered I forgot this and I had to refilm it? Let me know how your July reading month went. Let me know your favorite books. Let me know your least favorite. Let me know what book you were happy you finally read or that you did choose to read. Let me know if you read any of these manga series. Let me know if you're gonna pick them up. Please pick up these two. Like, please, they're so good. So good. Yeah, this one, again, I don't think it's been translated into English yet, so I can't say pick it up. But if I ever find out if it's been translated to English, I will let you guys know, and then please pick it up then. But yeah, so I will definitely say my manga reading for July has been a much larger success than books. Thank you for watching. I hope your July month went well. Let me know how your July reading month went, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Lord, I'm separated. I'm living life full